In the glittering yet treacherous arena of celebrity and royalty, where whispers can topple empires and loyalty is rarer than a genuine apology, one man's voice has risen like a clarion call against the cacophony of malice. Wendell, the acclaimed actor who portrayed Meghan Sussex's on-screen father in the long-running legal drama Suits, has once again stepped into the fray, not as a performer reciting lines, but as a steadfast guardian wielding truth like a shield. His recent rebuke of royal biographer Angela Levin, a figure whose career seems built on the brittle foundations of innuendo and spite, underscores a poignant reality. Sometimes, the family we choose on set becomes the fortress we need in real life. While Meghan Sussex navigates her post-royal renaissance with grace and grit, marked by her eagerly anticipated cameo in the upcoming comedy Close Personal Friends, filmed just days ago on November 5, 2025, Levin lurks in the shadows, peddling tired tropes that reek of desperation. What does this woman want from Meghan Sussex? A pound of flesh, a front-row seat to her downfall, or simply the validation of her own fading relevance? Whatever it is, it's high time Levin packs her notebooks and heads to the retirement home, where she might finally confront the bitterness that's defined her twilight years. The spark for this latest skirmish ignited on November 6th, when Levin, ever the self-appointed arbiter of royal propriety, unleashed a venomous broadside against Meghan's tenure on Suits. In a statement dripping with the condescension of someone who's never stepped foot on a real film set, Levin declared that Meghan won't love being told what to do by any producer, and that her co-stars found her difficult, demanding, and rude. This, mind you, when she was merely a starter in the industry. It's the kind of lazy character assassination that Levin has perfected over years, recycling anonymous sources like yesterday's gossip rags. One can't help but wonder, has Levin interviewed the lighting technicians, the craft services crew, or does her research consist of scouring tabloid archives for the juiciest half-truths? This isn't journalism. It's a vendetta masquerading as insight, a sad spectacle of an aging provocateur clinging to relevance by clawing at a woman who's dared to chart her own course. Enter Wendell, the embodiment of dignity in an industry often starved for it. Pierce, whose portrayal of Robert Zane's steadfast ally Clarence Fields brought warmth and wisdom to Meghan's Rachel Zane, didn't mince words in his riposte. "You have no idea what you are talking about," he fired back, before painting a vivid portrait of the Meghan he knew, a kind, giving, and talented artist who I enjoyed working with for years. He didn't stop there. Labelling Levin a shameless hack and a gossip monger profiting off the Duchess's name, Pierce channeled the righteous fury of a father protecting his own. "I'm more mad at myself for allowing you to get under my skin," he admitted, a rare vulnerability that only amplified his resolve. "I'll focus this anger on the friendship that we built." In those words lies the essence of true camaraderie, one forged in late-night rehearsals, shared laughs between takes, and the quiet respect that binds performers who recognize talent in one another. Pierce's defense is not an isolated act of chivalry. It's the latest chapter in a bond that has outlasted the final credits of Suits. Their on-screen chemistry, where Clarence's avuncular guidance mirrored the supportive dynamic Meghan craved amid Hollywood's cutthroat climb, translated seamlessly off-camera. Pierce has long been vocal about Meghan's professionalism, recounting in interviews how her preparation and empathy elevated the entire cast. When the world fixated on her biracial identity or her year-round tan, as some critics snidely quipped, it was Pierce who reminded audiences that Meghan was a force, intelligent, resilient, and unapologetically herself. Now, as she edges back into acting after an 8-year hiatus, her Close Personal Friends role a cheeky nod to her comedic roots. Pierce's words serve as both vindication and a beacon for others weary of the Sussex scrutiny. Contrast this with the glaring void left by Meghan's biological father, Thomas Markle, a man whose legacy is less one of paternal pride than public betrayal. Where Pierce rallies to her side with eloquence and empathy, Thomas has squandered every opportunity to shield his daughter from the vultures circling her life. Recall the farce surrounding her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry. Thomas's staged paparazzi photos, his tabloid leaks, and his subsequent parade of excuses painted a portrait of absenteeism masked as victimhood. He couldn't, or wouldn't, defend Meghan against the racial undertones of early media barbs, the relentless Duchess difficult narrative, or the heartbreak of family estrangement. Instead, he positioned himself as the aggrieved party, auctioning off family mementos and penning open letters that read more like indictments than olive branches. Thomas Markle didn't just fail at fatherhood, he weaponized it, turning personal pain into public spectacle. Wendell, by contrast, embodies the archetype Thomas could never grasp, the protector who doesn't seek the spotlight, but commands it when duty calls. His defense of Meghan isn't performative, it's principled, a refusal to let fabrications erode the legacy of a woman who's weathered storms that would sink lesser souls. And in this, Pierce earns more than admiration, he deserves an invitation to the heart of the Sussex fold. Imagine it. Wendell, with his booming laugh and sage counsel, meeting Archie and Lilibet, the spirited duo whose privacy Meghan guards like a sacred vow. Archie, now pushing 6 with his father's adventurous spirit and his mother's sharp wit, could use an uncle like Pierce, someone to spin tales of Suits' escapades over backyard barbecues in Montecito. Lilibet, the toddler terror with curls that rival her grandmother's, might delight in Pierce's theatrical flair, perhaps even staging impromptu father-daughter reenactments from the show. It's not just fitting, it's poetic justice. The man who played her TV dad has proven himself the real deal, worthy of sharing in the joys of the family Meghan has built brick by painstaking brick. But let's pivot back to the antagonist of this drama, Angela Levin, whose obsession with Meghan borders on the pathological. What drives this woman? Envy, ideological rigidity, or the hollow thrill of relevance in a world that has long moved on from her brand of royal hagiography? Levin's animus dates back to Meghan's earliest days in the firm, when she decried the American actress as an interloper unfit for Buckingham Palace. It escalated with Harry's real story, Levin's 2022 biography that read like a prosecutor's brief, cherry-picking anecdotes to portray the Sussexes as duplicitous divas. Fast forward to 2025, and the hits keep coming. Accusations of fake crying in interviews, where Levin dissects Meghan's emotions like a coroner at an autopsy, claiming every tear is phony and every vulnerability a calculated ploy. She's very careful. She plans it very, very carefully, Levin sneered in a recent tirade, as if Meghan's poise were a crime rather than a survival mechanism. And now, this Suits slander, resurrecting decade-old gripes from faceless actors to undermine a comeback that's barely begun. One has to ask, what's Levin's endgame? Does she believe these barbs will summon Meghan back to the fold, tail between her legs? Or is it simpler, a bid for book sales, podcast plugs, and the adoring nods from a shrinking echo chamber of monarchists? Her commentary has devolved into a predictable loop. Meghan as the villain, Harry as the duped prince, and Levin as the truth-teller exposing it all. But truth? That's a stretch. Levin's revelations often crumble under scrutiny, reliant on hearsay from disgruntled ex-staffers or palace insiders with axes to grind. It's the journalism of the insecure, lashing out at a woman whose independence exposes the rot in the institutions Levin revered. Meghan Sussex didn't just leave the royal family, she liberated herself from a system that chews up trailblazers and spits out scandals. Levin, perched on her pedestal of propriety, can't abide that. It's easier to demonize than to adapt. This isn't mere critique, it's a cultural malaise. Women like Meghan, ambitious, biracial, unyieldingly authentic, have always drawn the ire of gatekeepers like Levin, whose worldview shrinks to fit outdated molds. Recall Levin's earlier salvos, mocking Meghan's demands for curtsies during royal visits, or insinuating her philanthropy is a global reset ploy for sympathy. Each one a dagger aimed at the heart of progress. Yet Meghan persists, channeling her energy into ventures like the Archewell Foundation and her lifestyle brand, which launched to acclaim earlier this year. Her close personal friend's cameo. Oh, a masterstroke of meta-humor, poking fun at her own narrative while reclaiming the screen on her terms. Levin's response? More mudslinging, as if VENOM could eclipse vision. Pierce's intervention, then, is a masterclass in allyship, a reminder that true power lies not in tearing down, but in lifting up. By calling out Levin's shameless tactics, he doesn't just defend Meghan, he dismantles the machinery of misinformation that sustains her. And in doing so, he highlights the profound irony: the TV father has outshone the real one, offering the unconditional support Thomas Markle withheld. It's a narrative flip that feels almost scripted, yet rings with raw authenticity. As Meghan Sussex steps back into the lights of close personal friends, one can only hope Pierce's words ripple outward, silencing the naysayers and amplifying the cheers. For Archie and Lilibet, let Wendell be the grandfather figure they adore, the one who tells bedtime stories of courtroom triumphs and imparts lessons in resilience. He deserves it, not as a reward, but as recognition of a bond that transcends fiction. And Angela Levin? Darling, it's time. The world's moved on from your sour grapes. Trade the keyboard for knitting needles, the interviews for introspection. Make peace with yourself in some quiet corner, far from the Sussex spotlight you've so covetously orbited. Your era of influence wanes like a setting sun. Let it set gracefully before it drags you into obscurity. Meghan Sussex, meanwhile, marches forward, unbowed and unbreakable, with allies like Wendell Pierce lighting the way.